Hello everyone, my name is Rémi. I am the producer of Tamanoir Immersive Studio, and today I'm going to moderate a panel about augmented dramaturgies. And I have the chance to have three personalities with me that represent all the layers of the creation process, the creative process. We have an artist and author, Sam Lecoeur.
Hello.
We have a producer with Marie Point, and we have a representative of a cultural institution, Pierre Lungheretti. Maybe we can start just with a bit of a presentation from all of you.
Yes, so I start because I see my name on the screen. So I'm Sam Lecoeur. I'm an artist between live arts and new technologies. I had the chance to be part of Tamanoir Immersive Studio for 7 years with Rémi, and now I'm artistic director of my own company, which is a theater, dance, and new technologies company called Compagnie Lecoeur. I'm specialized in collective performance, so the idea is to share the tools, the sensation, the presence quality of a performer with participants, with members of the public, and explore diverse state of presence doing so. For some of you, you have maybe experienced one of my creation, which is the Castaways in room 500.
Maybe we can see the teaser of one of your projects that you made that is called First Step.
Yes, let's do this. So just a bit of introduction. First Step is one of the collective performance that I've made recently, and the idea was to share with the public the sensation, the emotion of the first step on stage, with this idea of how powerful it is to accept to really be seen. So this project was 20 participants stepping on stage with 5 dancers in front of 300 public members. So you can imagine the stress to step on stage, because they were totally amateurs, not dancers. And the idea was to play with this stress and to progressively bring them to accept to be seen and to dance in front of 300 people. Thank you. So if you want to experience, once again, if you want to experience one of these creations which try to bring an aesthetic of intimacy and presence on stage, there is still maybe some place for the Castaways.
Yes, the Castaways is exhibit tomorrow and Sunday, so you can come on room 500. Marie, please.
So hello, I'm Marie. I'm a producer. I'm the director of Dark Euphoria. We are a production agency based in south of France, in Montpellier and Marseille. And we are producing quite different stuff because we are not a studio, so we can make projects with kind of any tools that we would find relevant. We produce digital art, but also interactive installations, immersive experiences. And we have a strong focus on the mix between performing arts, live performance, and immersive and interactive technologies in a quite broad sense. So maybe we can also show a project. I think it's interesting after a first step because it's quite a different project setup and everything. So here we don't we give people also a choice to interact with the show, but not in the way that they become performer, more in the way that they will get access to different layers of the show, different realities, and they will be able to choose whether they want to watch the real show, let's say, on stage, and the dancers, it's a dance contemporary show, or they want to see a virtual version of the show, which is a bit the same and a bit completely different.
Remarquez un manque d'alignement entre les danseurs sur scène et dans le casque. Procédez ainsi.
C'est la première fois que je peux voir en fait un spectacle de danse en simultané avec de la réalité virtuelle.
C'était un spectacle immersif, extrêmement novateur, très troublant.
Utile, interactive, rigolote même des moments et intrigante.
J'ai trouvé ça assez audacieux.
Très intéressant dans la recherche par rapport à la réalité virtuelle et comment ça peut vraiment se mélanger avec les spectacles vivants en proposant au public une double réalité.
J'aime bien ce côté participatif, interactif.
J'ai passé énormément de temps de spectacle à regarder la correspondance des chorégraphies.
Ça se faisait assez intuitivement de passer l'un à l'autre.
Et là, avec le casque comme ça faisait un peu comme à l'opéra.
C'est fou parce qu'il n'y a pas de frustration non plus qui est créée, malgré ce qu'on pourrait en penser. Même si des fois on entend un sursaut collectif dans la salle et on se dépêche de mettre ses lunettes.
Ce qui est cool, c'est que quand tu enlèves le casque, en fait, tu as un deuxième spectacle et ça te coupe pas des deux mondes.
Ça construit une pièce à part entière en fait.
So yes, I just can quickly finish to present ourselves. Dark Euphoria, so we are producing artworks, but we are also trying to, we realize that when we produce, we learn a lot of stuff. There is a lot of knowledge that is created and that sometimes can disappear with a project if we don't give the opportunity to the people who worked on it to share it. So first, regarding the technological solution, as I said, we are not a studio, so most of the time artists come to us like, okay, I want to use this VR headset that you can remove and put like opera glasses. Okay, it doesn't exist, so let's do it. So we do a lot of research and development, and when we create this kind of device that you see, maybe I will talk about it later, we also wanted to make it accessible not only for this show and this project, but for other artists. So we work in that sense with the whole ecosystem, the venues, the networks of artists, of producers, and we try to gather all these people interested in this mix between live performance and creative technology, let's say, in a professional event that we are organizing each year with the Avignon Festival, that is called Performing Art Digital Stages, and you are invited. It will be on 7 and 8 July. It's also an international event. And where we try to make people know each other and communicate, because we realize that it's the best way to do this kind of sometimes complex projects.
Pierre, if you want to present.
Hello everybody, I'm Pierre Lungheretti, Associate Director of Chaillot Théâtre National de la Danse. Just a few words concerning Chaillot Théâtre National de la Danse, because it's the only national theatre in France completely dedicated to contemporary dance. You have the Paris National Opera, which is dedicated to classical ballet, and Chaillot is dedicated to dance, which is a quite recent evolution because Chaillot has always been in a French history, French cultural history, a very important venue for the theater, with Jean Villard, Antoine Vitesse, very big names of the theater. And in the last 10 years, it has moved to dance because dance, contemporary dance, particularly contemporary French dance, has become a very major part of the artistic and cultural landscape in Europe and all over the world. And so the French government wanted to have a national theater dedicated to contemporary dance. And very rapidly to describe what we do in Chaillot, so we have 9 associate artists. We produce and co-produce choreographic shows. We program as well very important international companies regarding dance and choreography. And we have about 140 spectators each year, each season. And we organize a lot of education program, and we want Chaillot with the appointment of Rachidou Ramdan. Next slide. No, it was Rachidou Ramdan has been appointed director, choreographer of Chaillot in 2021, and the main project is based on diversity and hospitality. So we want to have a very diverse audience, and we work a lot on education program because we want as well to have a young audience, a very important young audience, to renew the audience in the French public theaters, which is quite being more and more older and older, and we have to make a particular efforts because a lot of young generation don't go as they used to in public cultural venues. We have a digital strategy in Chaillot, social medias, Data Dance, which is a kind of interactive platform with archives, digital interactive archives concerning dance. And we have a new ambitious project which is called Calypso, Choreographic Art Lab, which is a contraction of Choreographic Arts Lab for Immersive Public and Spaces. And we want to create a permanent space for creation and diffusion of immersive performances with very important choreographers with international reputation. Next slide. That was the slide I was looking for, but it's not on good order. So just to focus on Calypso, because this is one of our most important projects for the 5 next years, because all of the team of Chaillot is involved on this lab of creation and research, and we want to propose an ecosystem of services for artists, for choreographers, in order that they can create with all the very new technologies and with a special team dedicated to these productions. And we want as well these permanent spaces to be a venue for discovering shows that we produce, but as well production, the more important production all over the world. Through this project, we want, of course, to have new audiences, to have more young audiences than we have at the moment. Next slide, please. We built Calypso with a consortium of 4 partners. We have Lucid Reality, which is a very important producer specialized in immersive experiences. We have as well Unframe Collection, which is a distributor of immersive experiences. We have in this consortium a network of cultural institutions of the performing arts which are involved in digital projects, which is called TMN Lab. And we work as well with the laboratory research of the University of Paris, which is called INREV, because it's very important, as I said, to have a kind of R&D aspect in this Calypso project. Next slide. We have a three major orientation in Calypso. So we want to develop new types of choreographies to create, of course, interaction with motion capture, with AI, to have interactive shows, and to have as well to create immersive shows with audio and sonic interactions, and also virtual reality shows. Next slide. As I said, this will be a dedicated space inside Chaillot. During our season, we will have special focuses on immersive questions. We organized this year, this season, a seminar which was open to everybody. We had a lot of people. And the goal of this seminar is to make more connection between the milieu of the performing arts, which is not very familiar of digital universes, and artists as well. We want that this seminar to be an important space for connection and sensibilization between these two worlds. And we want as well do partnership with online broadcasting for Calypso. Next slide. Of course, as I said, we create Calypso to have artistic innovations, that artists can imagine new way of narration, new way of conceiving choreographic works, but as well to have a special address to youth people, to different audiences in an international scale. And we want as well strengthen our identity as a national theater dedicated to contemporary dance in kind of innovative identity with Calypso, which is important for our global communication.
So I would like to start this debate with an open question, really general, but just to make some ground together. What is for you an augmented show, an augmented performance? Because we spoke about a lot of various projects with a lot of different technologies, with different implication of the audience. So yeah, just for you, what is an augmented show?
For us, my answer would be sometimes it's a show where something lacks. Also because, for example, in our reality now, when you go in the VR, sometimes it's not about adding stuff to that would not be in the reality, but it's about removing stuff. And for example, in the show, you have some objects and they disappear in the virtual reality. So I think for us, it would more be like opening more entry doors and more windows into an artwork. This is why also I don't really like to talk about immersive shows or immersive, yes, if it's really immersive, could be also without technology. But I don't think a show that has a lot of technological means on stage is, it can be not immersive, it can just be a really high-tech scenography or something. So immersive does mean something, like bringing people into another world, and it's not always technological, so yeah.
I like to think about augmented dramaturgy or augmented show as how we can keep the performance, how we can start from the performance and prolong it or expand it in some ways, because I think it helps to not fall into the trap of trying to put more stuff I agree with you. It's really augmented. It's a bit misleading because you want to put more, but it's more about changing or removing and seeing how the performance can be expanded or maybe can reach more people. And trying to avoid making the performance disappear between the technology, which is quite often the case, I would say.
I will define it not technically, but as a spectator. For me, an augmented show is a show that can permit me to have new kind of perceptions, new kind of to apprehend new kind of complexities of the reality, to have a new kind of sensations, as I said, also with this meeting with a reality which is visible and with something more imaginary, more this kind of carambolage. I don't find the right word in English. Yes, a kind of crash with something that you can experience the reality and something which is more open to imagination, to fantasy, and so on. This is and which create new kind of narratives of which kind of shows more things more complex, maybe more sometimes with more mystery. That's a new kind of imaginaire.
So to sum up, there is augmented shows is not about technologies, but it's about emotions. It's about mystery, kind of like that. And Sam, as an author and a director, why did you use and do you use new technologies in your collective performances?
Actually, it's really close to what you said, because as I want to share the tools or the feeling, the sensations of what is it to perform with the public, new technologies can help create new ways of attentions, which is quite close to what a performer will do, trying to have this extraordinary attention to himself and the space while on stage. So the new technologies, they create this curiosity. Oh, I don't know what's possible, so I have this awareness of the space, of what is happening, a bit more strengthened, a bit more acute than my ordinary way of perceiving the world. So for me, it's one way of really sharing, kind of cutting through the years of training of a performer to share at least a bit of these sensations. And yes.
I think that's a pretty good answer. Marie, but also Pierre, on that question, you are working with artists that are not aware at the beginning with the new technologies. I know that you work with Vincent Dupont for Lungheretti now. I imagine that you will do it with the choreographer and so on. What is the challenge? How do you? How did you do to give them the tool to express themselves with these technologies?
For Vincent Dupont, it's a good example because he's a contemporary dance choreographer who never worked with virtual reality, for instance. He works a lot with sound, so he was interested in technologies. But I think the starting point was that he met Chaillot, who is an interactive designer, so that you maybe know here in the audience. He was really, I think he was quite fascinated by VR at first. And for us, this fascination can be something sometimes not easy to deal with. So the thing is that what we try is to, I mean, it's fun because sometimes it's people who are not that close to technology who are the most maybe fantasizing about it. What we tried to do is like first making them able to not only be inspired by technological innovation, but also to inspire themselves what technology could be. So this is what they did with our idea of having this device that would look like an opera glass, like old opera goggles. And that they really liked this interaction and this freedom to navigate and not to be locked in a headset. So we said, okay, we will design this with a prototyping lab and everything. And then when we started to face sometimes some feasibility problems with technology or some stuff like that, we always try to bring them back to, okay, what impact do you want to have on the audience? What feelings, what place for the audience, and not about what tech you want to use, or trying to also tell them that the goal is not to use VR or to do this interaction. The goal is like, where do you want the audience to be, to bring, and maybe we can do it in a different technical way, which is not sometimes easy to bring to creators. But yeah, this is kind of how we worked. So saying, okay, we can invent stuff, but also sometimes we can a bit step back from technology to really rethink the purpose.
Pierre, I have quite the same question. Did you already worked with a choreographer? And if so, how was the collaboration?
Yes, we do. But first of all, I would like to say that there is a minority of artists who are naturally attracted to technology. Because for them, it's very. They are very far from how works technology, and they are always afraid to be imprisoned in technology. So we have to, in Chaillot, we think that we have the responsibility to have this mediation towards artists and to make them perceive what they can do with technology. That it's a kind of enrichment for them, that it can give them new ideas, it can give them new. It can open new territories of sensibility, of imagination, and so on, as I said. And for instance, we work with Rachid Ouramdan, which is a choreographer director of Chaillot, and we are working on a piece that he created for a theater, a physical theater, which is called Corps Extrêmes, which has a huge international acclaim. And we want to have to create an augmented version of this piece. And Rachid has worked with. Has listened to artists who worked on with this kind of technologies. For instance, in Chaillot, we co-produced Le Bal de Paris of Blancali. So the exchanges and dialogues between artists on this kind of experiences are very important, because they share the same language, and they can much more understand all the infinite potentialities, creative potentialities of technologies, of digital technologies. And so it's important to organize this meeting between artists, so that an artist who has realized, produced works with digital tools can transmit to other artists what is possible, and to awake a kind of desire towards immersive shows and so on. And so we organize this kind of dialogues between artists, but also with producers, with specialists of the technology, and also with experts. That's why in Calypso we have this research laboratory of a University of Paris, because it's also important to have this kind of triangulation, dialogue à trois, with researchers, producers, and artists, because it can really change things and change mental representation for artists who are not very familiar to this technology. So we organize this kind of dialogue, and also we try with our own teams, production teams, and all the technical teams. We also do this work of sensibilization, formation, learning about what technologies. It's a kind of general acculturation that we are organizing in Chaillot at the moment for all the teams that work with us, to be much more familiar on the global scale of technologies and digital possibilities.
All right, thank you. I want to go to a more concrete question for you, Sam. What is the different step of your creative process during from the beginning of an idea to the production of it?
Some of the steps, maybe.
Not maybe all, yeah.
At least for the like, let's say, past 5 years, the creation begins more on the performing side. It's like I'm performing dance or acting, and something. I made, let's say, a discovery about an emotions, about a quality of presence, about a quality of relationship between people, about for the castaways, for example, about how we can contain so many characters, and how the little me that we use every day can be in fact contains a lot of people. And so these discoveries that I made in the performing side, I'm trying to see, okay, how can I bring them to the participants? How can I help a non-performer to experience these kind of things? And based on that, it created needs for technologies. For example, for the Castaway or First Step, immersive audio with the possibilities to have different set of instructions in between the participants. So they are basically doing a spontaneous choreography between themselves. And after that, it brings like the difficult phases where you want to do everything. But as you are working with participants, it has to be simple. It have to, basically, you have to bring complexity to simplicity. And so this is the part where I'm trying to ask myself, why am I doing that? Why I feel this project is important, and trying to go back to the why. And it's often several layers, yes. Several layers of why. And at the beginning, it's just like a sensation. I want to share this sensation, but why it is important? Because I feel like if more people felt that way, the world would be better. But why it's important to me? Oh, because this. And so by bringing back to the why, I find the simplicity, because when the why is strong enough, you can cut through the noise and just make the right choices, I would say, for the creations. And after that, we have the setup, we have the way to interact with it, and the goal for the participant. I try to formulate as one sentence what I want the participant to experience in the experience. For example, for First Step, experience the intimacy and the power of the first step on stage. And after that, it's a lot of iteration. So test with participant. I test the earliest possible. I want really to co-create the experience with the participant. So at the beginning, it may just be a simple voice guiding, so we can have the feedback of the participant. And for the feedback part, I try to always ask the same questions so we can see the answer evolving through the iterations, and we can. It's like directing the participant or sculpting the crowd in some ways, because they are really you can't imagine or think about things that a crowd will do. It's really in a way not an individual imagination. So you need the collective imagination, and it's the beauty of this kind of work. It's just you just have to discover it and look at it and help the crowd go the way it wants to go inside the big direction that you have set up. And for production part, well, I work with producer.
Yeah, and just for the anecdote, for the project, The Castaways, we did, I think, something like 20 user tests, 20 prototype before doing this final version. So you put at the heart of your creative process the audience. What do you think about that, Marie, but also Pierre? Do you work in the same way? Do you test your work at the beginning? Because obviously we are working on kind of interactive, participative experiences. So at some point the implication of the audience is there. So do you have the same approach or not at all?
I think it's kind of mandatory to have this kind of approach, and I think for Sam it's easy in a way, as you work in immersive experiences for quite some time, and I think you have this mindset of, okay, the audience is not just sitting here and I will deliver my content, and the audience is my, as you said, it was sculpting the crowd. I love it, and I think for a lot of people coming from more traditional performing arts like theater or contemporary dance, it's not that easy to switch from I'm on this safe place of my stage and people are there and they will not come to me and they will be passive, and I mean, what will they do if they don't like? They will just go like quietly. But what's happening if people don't like? They will not participate and nothing will happen because they are the show. So it's also something that I figured out that it's very different between the culture of, and it's a bit what Pierre said, that I think a lot of artists are sometimes reluctant to use technology because, I mean, performing arts artists, because they are afraid to lose this connection with a human being, human people. But in a way, it's interesting to make also them see that when you work with interactive performances, you get directly connected to people, and it can also be scary because yes, you will have direct feedback. You have to let go. The piece is not just yours, but it's also the audience piece, and so it completely changes the way of working. So yes, for Lungheretti we also did quite some tests, which is production-wise not that easy, because gathering, for example, our show is 100 people, and if we test it with 5 people and 5 headsets, probably everything will go perfect, and if we test it with 75 headsets, then it starts to crash. So to get the conditions and the funds to test many times with 100 people, so we thank all the school and the students who came with all their their classes to test it. But yeah, we did it quite a lot, and yes, it's a way of not reducing the technological risks, but also guaranteeing the fact that the audience will be part of your project.
I would like to say a thing that in Chaillot we don't make any difference between traditional shows without technology and shows with technology, because the finality is exactly the same, and we don't want that shows with technology become gadget. You know what? It's a work of art most of all, and I say that because we have already, even in the physical venues without technology, you can have participative aspects with the audience, and we already do participative shows. We have already done that always done that, and we will do as well. But of course, there is a special dimension of participation of the audience with the technologies, with the digital technologies, because the possibilities are infinite. You have it opens a world of infinite possibilities, and that it's interesting, but it's a kind of prolongation of what we can do in the physical world, and it's very interesting. And for us, because we want, as over the cultural institution, as I said, we want to have a very diverse audience. I want to have a strong action on young people and so on. So it's a new way of doing what we always were doing in the physical world. So that it's interesting, and but it's a kind of a global strategy. You know, there's not a special strategy with digital tools and digital project. We integrate this global dimension in a very general strategy, which is very important for us, and we will do also. But as well, as you know, as we know. We know that young generation are particularly attracted to technologies, and that it's our contemporary world. It takes parts of the new way of having access to culture, to arts, and so we take that into consideration. Because, but we don't change our finalities or objective. Because that there is this new practices. We want our finalities are exactly the same: to share an artistic object with the most important audience that is possible, to share an artistic imagination, an artistic processes, which is the thing that is the most important for us.
I want to ask you another question, Pierre, about all of this incredible project that is Calypso. So you want to, I saw a lot of different projects that you want to start with Calypso, like have a space, allowing creative people to be sensitive about new technologies and everything. My question is it? Do you want to create some kind of technological concept that everyone has to use to help the different exhibitions? And that will be also a question for Marie, that is using the concept of no reality now for other projects, maybe. Do you want to do something like that with Chaillot, or every project brings new tools, new device?
Yes, I think it's the second solution. Of course, we want, as a theater of diversity, we would like to have the most diverse approach with digital technologies. And so, but we want with Calypso also as well to find new innovations, you know, because things are going very fast. The evolution is very fast, and that's also what we would like to succeed in with this project, is to have real capacities of technological innovations applied to artistic processes and artistic ways of work for artists. This is one of our main pari. I don't find the word in English. What? Yes, and it's very important to have this kind. This is our reflection. It's very important to have this kind of labs which give special possibilities for artists because I'm not sure that this kind of laboratories exist in national institutions, you know, and to have this kind of synergy between a cultural institution which has its history, which has its expertise, and to bring this possibility for a lot of artists that we work with, I think it's a very important. And also, I wanted to underline that it's also an economical novelty for us to work with this kind of ways of production, to have this new process of financing project. This is very interesting for us because it's a very new approach, even on an economical point of view. So that's important.
And about you, Marie, and you talked about a bit about that during your presentation, that you wanted to that the technologies that you use for No Reality now, now that you developed it, maybe it could be interesting to use it for other projects. How does it work? Do you with new artists?
Yes, I think it's quite a complex question. This thing about standardization vs being able to create new solutions for each project. And I think also, I mean, for us, the important question is to, I mean, I have the feeling that sometimes technological innovation is not that much opening imaginaries, but more reducing them, because, okay, you have to use the Meta headset and it's made like that and you can do that and blah, blah, blah. And also technology, I mean, the more technology you add, the more constraints you add also, like if you want to do motion capture, if you use a suit, it will probably not, you will not be able to do real time because it will drift for some time. If you use OptiTrack or quality system, it's super expensive. So how you can make your show tour in every national theater or abroad, blah, blah, blah. So I think the magical solution doesn't exist. For me, I mean, a concern is like how we can not leave the stage and the innovative artistic format to artists who already have the means to create this, like big names, big companies, artists already recognized, and how we can also make space for emerging artists who will maybe use tech in a more DIY way, in a more low-tech way, in a more critical way, and how we can also make these people be part of our labs, of our reflection, and be able to create, because if we talk about the budget of Blancali or even No Reality Now, it's a lot of money. And it's also because in France we have the chance to have money for creation, but also for technological innovation for creative industries, which can be also sometimes a trap, because these funds are not targeted towards artistic creation, but towards innovation. So sometimes you have to sneak, I don't know, to cheat, no, to be smart, to kind of go this way. But also, I mean, I don't think artists and artistic creation gains will win all the time regarding this technological innovation. And I have the feeling we are still in a time where it's really hard to step back and to say, okay, no, I want to do, for example, I think No Reality Now is a good example, because it's not a proper VR headset that we are using, but smartphones in a cardboard. So it's totally not the same rendering and graphic quality, but because we wanted it to be more sustainable, to not have to change the headset in 2 years, and also to be able to put this handle that is and to kind of hack the device, we went for this solution. But we also know that if we want to mean that now people's eyes are used to very high resolution graphics that use a lot of data and consume a lot of technology and stuff. And I think we are a bit in this moment where we talk a lot about I mean, we are still in between these two things, and we have I have the feeling that people think there is no choice to make, that we will continue to innovate technologically and help creation. But I have the feeling maybe at one point we will also ask ourselves a bit more question about that, and I guess also for some good.
And that's interesting because in your work, Sam, and your different projects, you ask yourself already that because you started with VR, and at some point you started to reduce the technology to use low-tech technologies with audio immersive experiences. Why did you want to make that change?
Yeah, and actually my next project is a book. So,
but an immersive book.
Yes, it's what was for me like a great attraction from VR for VR is like we can share an imaginary landscape together, but by doing some of our first experiences with multiplayer in VR, I felt kind of frustrated because I felt like basically I was sharing my imaginary landscape with the people or at the people in some ways, and they couldn't bring like the same share of imagination to the project. So I removed the headset from my past creations, so we can share, so the participants have more ways to share and to bring a part of themselves into the creations. And I would just bounce a bit back on these questions, because I think it's really interesting and crucial to our creation. For me, the true standardization, at least if we talk about standardization, is because we want to have easiness of use. We want the creators and everyone basically to not go through the whole thing again, because it can be really difficult and really risky also. And for me, the true standardization is digital acculturation of the people that you work with. And I love that you said everyone in Chaillot is taught this kind of stuff, because once you have a good digital acculturation, you can bring another set of technical difficulties. The people, they will go through it really quickly. So I think for me at least it's a pillar of how we can just create more quickly with digital technologies.
And so to end, because I think it's pretty much it. I wanted to ask what advice would you give to an artist that is starting in this world, in performance or in digital universe? What kind of advice would you give him or her?
I think I will also share what Pierre said about talking with other artists, and I mean more generally getting inspired by digital creation, but also by works that maybe don't have the same format, format or artistic purpose, but go to see immersive sound installation, XR projects. It's really hard to create with a medium if you didn't experience it yourself, and quite a lot, I think. And also, I think it's important to realize that this kind of project, they require quite a lot of skills, technical skills, artistic skills, that sometimes you are a bit blurred, like technico-artistic skills. So find out what you get, what you know how to do, and also what you need, and find the right people, the right networks to help you, and also don't be afraid to let go and to share your intentions with people who are, for example, UX designers, interactive designers, XR authors, people coming from the cinema, audiovisual, and everything. And that's it, I guess.
I think it's a bit of the same, I would say, to look at the world through the lens of experience. Because we know the experience of a cinema, for example, or a theater. Like when you start to write for cinema or theater, you already have like the hypothesis of participants, public audience seated and watching this screen, for example. But once you start opening new possibilities with new technologies, basically the experience is will be renewed and to reinvent. So what is, for example, the experience of working in a museum? How do you appreciate art differently because you're walking, seated? What is even like the experience of opening a bottle and the sensation of it, and how this experience is already informing how you appreciate water? Basically, having this, just having this experience lenses will help you after that, I would say, more define what kind of immersion do you want, what immersion means for you, what is basically experiencing immersion, and how it can help your project.
My advice will be the same advice as I gave when I was the general director of the Cité de la Bande Dessinée Angoulême, and that I met young artists in comics, in bande dessinée. I told them, read as you can, read as much as you can, read a lot of comics book and so on to learn and to know what is your own style, your personal style. And I will give the same advice for an artist who wants to have to experience a project with digital tools. I will say try to know what is going on, what are the projects, what are the artists. Try to learn from the artist, as we said. Try to discover what is adequate for your own artistic way and your own artistic approach. So the question of knowledge is absolutely important for all the artists, not only those who are interested in digital environments, but for all the artists, it's very important.
You will just tell us, no, it's too complicated, just write a book.
Yeah, at the end, after 7 years of doing digital things, you finish by making a book. Thank you very much, guys. I don't know if we have time for some questions. Yeah, over there.
Thanks so much for this talk. It was super interesting. I come from the theater background, but I work in mixed reality at the moment. And just to follow up this conversation that was happening just at the end of this year, I wanted to ask maybe all three of you, could you give on top of your head one example of work that really inspired you and or maybe intrigued you? Like we spoke about other artists and getting inspired in the field. So could you name one, please?
I think one major reference for me is Then She Fell from Third Rate Project. It's something that I keep coming back to like all the time, actually. Unfortunately, so it's an immersive theater show in New York. Unfortunately, it's finished, but you have videos of it. And I would say in this experience, so Then She Fell from Third Rate Project. In this experience, one part of the experience which like touched me really, really strongly was to we had a little fruits, and first you're coming to the fruits and you think there is a mirror in front of you, but it's not a mirror, it's an empty frame, and you have a performer in front of you, and you're staring at each other really intensely in the eyes, and you're taking the fruit, and you're peeling the fruit together, and basically at that point, also they give you a lot of alcohols for the show, but basically at that point, I really felt I was this person, and so this ability to free yourself to your own individuality was for me an amazing experience that I kept thinking about.
For me, it's not something with. I mean, if I think just like that very quickly, I was really young, and it was a show of the Théâtre du Soleil of Ariane Mnouchkine, and it was in Vincennes at La Cartoucherie, yes. And I think it was the first time I was going to the theater, and just also food was involved. So I think food, alcohol, drinks are a good, and it felt immersive for me because we could go through all the decors before, after, and the people who played the show were there, and it felt so different from a classical theater experience that I had usually, where you have to be quiet and not talk and sit and go, and that's it. And yeah, for me that was really immersive, I guess.
For me, I would quote Le Bal de Paris, not only because we co-produced it, but because it opened new ways of interactions between audience and the dancers who are in the experience. This kind of dialogue between dancers and audience, and this kind of participation is really, I think, very popular, because Bal de Paris is a popular cultural object, and it's very important as well. And that's why maybe it makes an important career all over the world with a huge success. So I would say that it opened new doors for a new kind of emotion, perception, sensations, and it's very important on this regard.
Thanks a lot to share all your thought and experience. I was just what kind of residence that is existing? As a director, I come from cinema and still working in cinema and also immersive, but I never do really connected with dance. Sure, I'm really interested by that, but by the way, we have with a Brazilian and French collective, women collective dancer, we had with La Fabrique Chaillot residency between Brazil and France, and it was so precious to have 1 month in France, 1 month in Brazil, to be able to to test and create. That kind of residency is existing for make meetings, plural artists, and develop augmented or a dance project. Is it existing right now?
No, it will exist very soon because of Calypso. That's one of the piliers, one of the important composants de Chaillot, de Calypso. So, of course, one of the main objectives of Calypso is to organize this kind of residencies for artists and specialists in the technology and digital universes.
And will you be the one that will curate, or will you be some colorful project or things like that?
We'll have both. We'll have special curations, and we'll have also call for project.
And I think in the landscape of this kind of residency, Chimère was a very important program that stopped, unfortunately. But also, I think you can check the Villa Formose Innovative Living Arts, Art Vivant Innovant program. That was also, I think, run with TNG, Théâtre Nouvelle Génération. And I think it's a residency also for performing arts, and a program between France and Taiwan. So something to follow. But yeah, it's not a lot of. But now there is also La Comédie Reims, who had an open call. I think Eva, who is missing this conference. Ah no, Eva can talk about it, because I think you were selected. Yes. So yeah, some national theaters are starting this kind of programs.
But there's also really good meetings at SVSN at Avignon every year.
Sure, but I mean, and yes, actually, we have a prize. We give a prize to one project in this field, and the prize with it comes money, but also a residency in Avignon between Lungheretti and la Villa Creative.
Hi, I have a question also. I'm a choreographer and staging operas. I'm developing currently two digital projects, one VR project and one immersive dance piece. But I have a touchy question about environment and how do you include all those issues into your path and your projects, because we know that all the digital tools are very demanding in resources, energy, water, from data centers. So how do you include in your project, in your production path, all those issues?
I just talked quickly about it, but for us, with No Reality Now, it was one of the questions, how to... it was actually both questions, making the project being sustainable and very environmentally, but also to just for exploitation, how to tour it for the longest time possible. And so this is also why we decided to go in a quite innovative, but also a bit low-tech solution, working with smartphones, refurbished smartphones, and a cardboard, which is way less technologies, and a proper VR headset that, as I said, that could have been maybe quite quick obsolete. And this is also why we are trying to make these tools available to other projects, also to not, but this is, I think it's a complex question that we, if we are honest, we don't really have an answer. I mean, actually, from my production perspective, so I would say that the most important for us is to try to make common tools for the most projects possible, because of course if we use technology we are not very green, I guess, otherwise we would hike in the forest right now, but yeah.
Thank you so much for what you shared. It was very inspiring. I'm from Peru and I'm a performer and I work with AI and XR. And where I come from, we have zero resources and we have to hack everything and make our own tools. And now I'm based in France. I'm in Marseille, actually. And people told me about your project, and now I got to see more about it. And I'm like, wow, that's super. And it makes me feel happy that I migrated to France and there are opportunities here. My question was answered just before, so I wanted to ask a different thing about thematics. Since some of you are working with national funding, does this give you, for example, censorship on the kind of content or approach that you can have towards certain topics? For example, one of the things that I think is very discussed right now is technocracy, or who's holding the power within these technologies. So we might accidentally be as well promoting some visions of future that not necessarily are very inclusive. So that is my question. Thematically, is there some kind of approach that you have, like family-friendly or grand public for your kind of funding, or can it go very experimental? Can it be naked bodies on stage? Can it not be? Like, what are the limitations of what you can support?
I can answer also from my perspective. This is a bit what I was saying before with all this investment in technology for creative industries. This is, I think, where I think in France for creation we still have this freedom of speech and of vision, and it's. I mean, we propose very experimental and very also projects very connected to society, critical also with the kind of issues you talk about. So I have the feeling this is quite open here, but it's more when it comes to innovation and industry and stuff like that, where I think it's, now actually it's also moving, but it's sometimes a bit contradictory injunctions when you have a project where the first question is how your project is making this disrupting gap with technological innovation, and the last question is how your project is environmentally clean, which I still don't really get from my side. But so yes, again, I think everybody is a bit trying to combine everything, which is probably not possible, but it's a good question.
And also with each tool has its own censorship in some ways, and in particular AI, which come with a whole philosophy in their answers. So I guess when you hack it, there is some good workaround, but I think it's one of the more it's one of the places when we can experience the more censorship here.
In Chaillot, which is a national theater, we have absolutely no censorship in any case. It's a space of freedom, so we are not concerned with this question. Of course, but I just want to precise that in France, it's not seems to be the same in the United States. The freedom of speech and freedom of creation is framed by laws, and you cannot have a racist incitation à la haine, racism, and so on. So in this frame, our freedom is absolutely complete.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.